The market is in a state of limbo right now. Valve changed how reloading fundamentally works within the game, changing the meta at least temporarily overnight. And at the same time, a flood of the new 4th generation gloves hit the market for the very first time. And on top of that, all of the data we use to track these statistics went down, which means we're gonna have to fly a little blind this week. But so long as we're making educated guesses while flying blind, we're gonna do better than everyone else who's also flying blind.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to DE News. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. As always, we will first get into the market cap. Oh wait, we can't. The market cap is down. I understand that the market cap is merely an estimation and is not really indicative of what's going on. However, if we use the same fucked up estimate every week, then it becomes consistent. So shut the fuck up about it. But we can't look at it this week. That's fine. If I had to make an estimate, we're probably down somewhat this week. And that is because of the macro event, the terminal glove still making waves within the market. It is a macro event, which means people are moving funds from other sectors into the glove and terminal sector. People want new shiny gloves, as you'd expect. It's not a negative thing per se. A lot of the capital is just simply being rotated, sitting in escrow rather than on someone's Steam inventory. But it does make the charts look a little bit ugly for the duration of the week. So let's actually talk about what's happening with gloves this week. Because as we know, on Wednesday, they were able to be listed on the market for the first time. And that's because the pricing dynamics are very interesting here. It is the first time we've been exposed to such a system that offers rare special items like gloves. As we know, the first terminal, Genesis, did not have any rare special items within it. Now, despite receiving 5 offers in the terminal as compared to the 1 offer you get within the case system, terminal gloves are still going to be rare. And there's 2 reasons for that I think are often overlooked. The first one is the new offer limit system that was implemented about a week before the new terminal was added. And that means we're not seeing the full scope of offers, right? Factory new gloves started at above $1,200 USD, and you can set your maximum offer limit to $500, for example, meaning that even if your offer was slated to be a factory new pair of gloves, it obviously wouldn't manifest on your screen. And secondly, which is still wild, despite the incentives, some people are still declining their offers for gloves. They get the offer, they see the float and the price, and they still say no, which economically currently does not make any sense. And that's because Valve has pretty much intentionally used the concept of arbitrage to get gloves to flood supply. For the first week or so, Valve on average offered around $200 to $300 for field-tested, well-worn, and battle-scarred gloves. But the floor asking price for pretty much any glove you look at within the terminal starts at around $500 currently on float. And they're being purchased, right? This is not a small, minuscule spread. It's often over 100%, which makes it meaningful and a valuable incentive for most people to follow when in the terminal, as they stand to gain quite a bit just by buying and flipping. Now, obviously, some people cannot afford the liquidity or the purchasing of gloves outright. However, a system like this is one of them practically begging you to purchase to increase supply. But obviously, it is a very short-term financial incentive. The prices on the CS float and third-party marketplaces will decrease over time, and the terminal offers will increase to match the Steam community markets. So eventually, they will converge somewhere in the middle, at least for now. You see, factory new gloves have a 0.6% chance of dropping on top of the 1 in 385% chance of getting a knife within the terminal. So in a vacuum, they're extremely rare outright, and that manifests when you look at case supply numbers. But adding the financial barrier of purchasing the gloves, right? Some people just cannot afford $1,200 for a pair of gloves. Makes sense. Those factors are going to culminate into I believe, if I had to make a prediction, a much lower factory new glove supply than what we're usually used to, despite the floats and percentages being the same. Because you have a 1 in 385 chance of getting the gloves offered to you. Then you have a 6 out of 1,000 chance of getting the gloves to be factory new. Then you have to take into account that the person doesn't have the offer limits enabled. Then you have to take into account that they have to pay $1,200 to purchase the gloves. This all culminates to a extremely rare item. Every layer filters out a select group of people that do not meet the criteria, and by the end of it, you don't have a ton of actual consumers willing and able to buy the gloves in factory new at that price. That is something we did not have to think about when purchasing cases and keys. Even though on average, if you spent $2.50 per key, your average amount of money spent before getting factory new gloves is much higher. But it's been even harder to track due to data limitations that have taken over the third parties and databases and have defined the week. CS Float is not able to track database listings as fast as they could before due to new weird mechanics Valve has implemented with their inventory system. They are working on it, however, we don't know the timeline in which to expect it to come back. So our best estimates of the gloves are rather from buff and UPin listings rather than database listings, which creates for merely a fraction of what we are expecting in terms of supply. But while we don't know the true number of gloves that have been unboxed as of yet, the proportions of the gloves being redeemed to the ones not being redeemed are probably going to stay pretty much the same, similar, at least once we get that data back to us. Now, cases also dipped pretty hard this week, right? The cause, intuitive, pretty simple to understand, a substitution in demand in favor of terminals, but the implications run further than you think. Cases within CS2 are one of the most liquid assets. All you have to do is look on the listings chart and you'll see how many are purchased in the last 24 hours. They are always the most popular, most selling assets within the game. Therefore, if you want to buy a terminal as fast as possible, you sell cases. It's not that they're bearish on cases or have a negative outlook on cases, but rather it's just the easiest and fastest thing to sell. Combine this with the fact that since everyone is chasing the terminal right now, not only are more people listing, but fewer people are purchasing, which means more listings, lower prices in the short term, and no one's there to buy them. Terminals are the exciting thing, cases are the old thing right now, and temporarily you have a purchasing opportunity if you are one to purchase cases. But it is a little bit counterintuitive that the active cases have risen in price, right? Well, not entirely, because here's the logic. If Valve is moving towards terminals being the primary distribution method, at least within active drops, and pretty much every signal points in that direction, then the remaining active cases are not going to be in permanent free fall anymore. Rather, they'll find a floor somewhere, because even with the still present increasing supply of these cases, we can guarantee them to not be increasing forever within due time. And that is a meaningful shift in sentiment, and it has manifested in the price action of these cases. They have stabilized and in the short term have even increased a little bit. The other active case that's not in the active pools, the Fever case, which is obtainable via the Armory for 2 stars, has increased not for the same reason, but because of the fact that the Armory rotation is speculated to be happening very soon. Also, with the terminals being added, it begs the question, do we get another case? For active pools, definitely not. The pattern seems to completely go in the other direction in every single way you think about it. But for the Armory, we haven't gotten that answer yet. So we will have to wait and see. Obviously, it is pure speculation at this point. So any speculation in either direction is going to come with some modicum of risk. And now for our clip of the week. I was going to use one of your guys' clips, but I hit a fucking banger on Overpass 1v4 to take the W. As you can see, walk up on fountain, bitch the guy in bathroom. A couple seconds later, regain my bearings, push out long, bang right in the head. Don't need much more time than that. Motherfuckers are hungry to kill me now, I know that, so I push up party in the molly. Bitch the guy behind the smoke, jump out, dodge the nade, flashed. I become unflashed due to the concept of time, peek out, bitch the guy, bathroom. Again, deja vu, we win the game. Now, because of the errors that are coming with the database, we also don't have too many numbers on case openings this week. And that's because case openings are not a trackable statistic, rather the skins incoming from the cases are, which allows us to create a working estimation of what cases are being opened, what cases are not. But on the month, we do have some data, and Dreams and Nightmares has fallen to the lowest redeemed case. Now, Dreams and Nightmares was older than Recoil, but the reason why I think they did not discontinue this one is because A, it's at $2, right? And the volume of that is crazy considering it's an active drop, which means Valve takes 15% of each one. On top of this, the artists were paid a flat rate for this case, and they are not paid per case open on commission, something that all other cases employ as a method of payment. Right, this one's essentially a money printer for Valve, but as soon as it falls out of popularity, it's going to be unreasonable not to take it out. So if this pattern holds over the next few months, we can expect the next case to be replaced in September. We've now gotten a terminal in September and March, 6 months away from each other, so we should expect another terminal in September. If the pattern holds, Dreams and Nightmares will be gone with it. But a further look into the data, it is not just the case market that is suffering huge changes because of the new terminal. terminal, but also the skin market. And this is not because of gloves, but rather patch notes submitted by Valve. So if you missed it, here's what changed. Reloading has been fundamentally changed in how it interacts with players in the game. Reloading now forfeits all remaining ammo within your magazine, regardless if you shot 1 bullet or 25. Your reserve ammo has been changed to magazines within the HUD. And short term, this created quite a bit of panic and quite a bit of speculation as to what guns will take over the competitive meta. But in game, in reality, that shit is barely noticeable. I played a bunch of games, I didn't see really any difference, nor did I have a situation in which I ran out of ammo. But the behavioral change is real. You now have to actually think about how and when you reload, which is never going to be a bad thing. It gets rid of the habit of reloading every time you shoot a bullet, and reloading now comes with trade-offs, something you have to think about. And in a world in which every video game gets dumbed down to the lowest common denominator of person, this game, by making it harder, sets it away from the pack. And if you don't like it, go play Valorant, you pussy. But even if you don't play or you suck, the ammo change still had a change in market price action. Some more hyped up than others, but some definitely concrete that will have lasting effects. For one, the M4A1S is definitely a less viable gun now, especially in the lower ranks. It loses a mag, and on top of the already low ammo count of 20 within your magazine, this makes it very hard to spam smokes, making it maybe a less viable option in pro play as well. This has created a shift in demand for the M4A4, and I also think the AUG as well, which we finally started to see some AUGs move positively today. As I said in the previous video, you can also purchase StatTrak guns here, right? We're not playing China pumping the skin, we're playing the patch notes increasing demand via play skin. This is also not a short-term hold, this is one more of long-term, right? We can expect a patch not to happen till at least July, as they usually patch actual tangible weapon data in between seasons, which is 1 day. Now, some other guns heard the term ammo changed and saw a massive price increase. But in the actual gameplay, nothing really changed in terms of weapon choices, right? R8, CZ, P2K, they all suck, I don't give a fuck. Talk to a wall. And while they did enjoy pretty nice price gains this week, I do expect them to regress to the mean after 7 days, once all the people who bought 8,000 P2000 skins to relist them subsequently after 7 days. So if you have some, or if you've been holding some, I suggest selling some now to at least gain some amount of profit. The real play right now is still the M4A1S and the UUSkins in StatTrak, as well as regular outright normal ones. When the attention is shifted somewhere else, that creates for a relative less amount of supply from retail purchasing, which makes it oh so much easier for China to pump. This is half the reason why they pumped so many M4A4 skins last year when it was hot garbage. The M4A1S now has that luxury afforded to it rather than the M4A4. Which brings us to our UUSkins arbitrage play of the week. And it is going to be the M4A1S Flashback. The M4A1S Flashback is a purple from the glove case, and right now on UUSkins it sits at $50.22, 22% off from the Steam market listings. Now in a vacuum, 22% is perfect already, right? You buy it on UU, you sell on Steam, 7% gain. But because the M4A1S has been so heavily sold and dipped down over the last week, that 22%, I think you could realistically expect it to hit 27-28% by the time your gun is tradable, which means your arbitrage play can go from 7% to as high as 12 to 13%, and I don't think it really has too much risk of going more down than it is right now. If you're unfamiliar, UUSkins, the sponsor of this channel, is a direct access marketplace to the Chinese markets within the NA and EU regions without the need for a VPN or middleman. They have one of the biggest inventories. It is peer-to-peer. Deliveries are fast. Risk of reversal is much lower. And they have a 24/7 live support that is always there to help. Scan the QR code on the screen if you want to check it out for yourself. And now for our sticker craft of the week. We got two here. One is from 8-Bit. 8-Bit got a blue phosphor M4A1S with 4X MLG Columbus stickers. Hella underrated stickers. These should be way more expensive in my opinion, and not even close the best actual major logo sticker ever made. None of them even come close. I also got like a knife glove combo this week. This one won because I think it was the only one posted. Fuck with the gloves. I love these gloves. I think they're in my like top 5 for sure. The knife is a knife. Respect the avant-garde style. Which brings us into last week's watch list, right? This is for DE News. DE News China will be tomorrow. I wanted to make a DE News China, but yesterday I had, a different idea, so I did that. So we'll get one tomorrow and Friday, so lucky you. The first pick was the Desert Eagle Sputnik from the Train 2021 collection. Now, this one did not see too much movement on the week, to be honest. However, the Tech 9 safety net, which was my main reason for even looking at the Desert Eagle, just fine increased a little bit to around over $20 now, which tells me that the collection is still in play, and thus so is the Desert Eagle, which means I won't be moving any of these for a while. The second was a continuation on the recoil play that I called 2 weeks ago. It had gotten discontinued, which meant we were already sitting pretty, but I did see a little bit more room to grow until the case hit its ceiling. So I would not expect crazy increases in price much more from here. However, the AK Ice Cold is such a solid play. AKs are pretty much allergic to dips in price that are dramatic. The sawed off could be a opportunity to sell right here, but it is also a 0-1 pink filler, which are in high demand right now because of the terminals existing. A bridge into this week's watch list, the Armory stays on there. I don't give a fuck. It dips every single day that the update doesn't come. People are selling due to impatience. This is why so many people lose money in markets. They are dumb. They are really, really dumb. Think about when you were in school, right? Were most of the kids in your class smart? No, they were all dumb as hell. Those are the people selling right now. And it's worth purchasing, not redeeming, because when prices go down, ROI for the Armory itself goes down, which means you're not using your stars as efficiently as you could. Purchase outright from the market. Scope out for good listings that have good floats, right? Don't be impatient. Search the market diligently. You will find good plays. I can promise you that. The new additions to the watch list this week will be USPS and M4A4 skins, right? They are dramatically lower than where they were just last week, and the demand will go right back to where it was in about a week or two if I had to make a prediction. The flashback, which I talked about a few days ago for the USP, is now higher than where it was when we first called it. It had taken a dip. It was around $6. It hit $5.50 on Steam or something, but it was as low as $4 on UU, and we purchased. Right now it's at $7 to $9 on UU and Steam respectively. Another one I saw that I liked is the USPS Cortex. It's 0-1 within the clutch case, which is gloves, and 0-1 in glove cases is very, very valuable. On top of this, Clutch shares Generation 2 with Revolution, which is still actively being dropped. So these prices are not indicative of where they'll be in like a year's time. The Cortex would be a long-term play. This is just a good long-term entry here because of the patch notes. The M4A1S, as I said, the flashback could be a decent play for arbitrage. For long-term, medium-term holds, the M4A1S Mud Spec. This is part of the Anubis collection. It's a light blue, so it's a relatively cheap entry point. The reason why it's such a good play is because of the Anubis collection speculation. It does carry a decent amount of risk, though, so you will have to take some amount of risk on, but the price is cheap, so you don't have to expose yourself to too much. The other one will be the M4A1S Veracamo. It saw a 50% decrease in listings over the last few weeks and a sharp uptick in listings this morning, which means that it's been purchased and have been listed on different Chinese marketplaces. That's usually what goes on there. It saw as high as $4 right before the patch, and it has since decreased to $2.20. It's part of the Dust 2 collection, which has just recently been discontinued, and China has been pumping weird fucking camo skins like the Boreal Forest over the last few weeks, which only makes the thesis even easier for me to buy a couple of them. Again, it's a low entry point, low exposure. You can only buy one of them. If it goes down to zero, cool, we lost $2. You'll have to skip your pack of gum tomorrow. Last thing, DE News China update is dropping tomorrow. As I said, I did not have the chance to make it on Friday or Saturday. I fell asleep, and I fell asleep for like 8 hours, so didn't have time to make a video. I have a feeling the Chinese market is going to pick up some steam over the next few weeks. Tech 9 Ossified is doing pretty good, so if you bought one of those on my call, probably sell. It's like $60 now. Yeah, get the fuck out of there. It's a weird collection. And keep your eye on the AUG over the next 24 hours. We'll do some searching together on stream later if you'd like to join. MikeWater9 on Twitch. Peace.